Ayo, it's DNA. Y'all now tuned in to rapgrid.com behind the battles. Yo, the funny thing about me leaving grind time, it's like a whole like story, a whole chapter on that. Because at the time, you know what I mean, when you get older, you start looking back on it like it was shit that I didn't like, but it was a lot of shit that I was just, you know what I mean, being young, being naive, you know what I mean, stupid shit. So, I mean, really to get into it, my last battle on grind time was against Rich Dollars in 2009. When 2010 came, I already had an opportunity to battle on URL, so I took the battle with P. It went well, and it was kind of like an acceptance thing because, you know, everybody was like, oh, you know, grind timers can't hang in URL. So for me to do good in that first one, when URL asked me to come back, instead of going back to grind time, I did 2 URL battles back to back because I battled P in February, I battled Tsunami Surf in March. So after that, I was scheduled to battle Quest McCody in the West Coast in June. I forgot the name of that event, but I was supposed to battle him. Lush One had set it up, and they offered me like $500. And I don't know why I didn't take the battle because I had never got paid before that. But me just being DNA at the time, I was so gassed. Like, yeah, I did 2 URL battles. I've been to URL now. I'm like, I want more money. For what reason, I don't even know why I would think that, but at the time I'm just like, yeah, you know, they paid Arsenal this, they paid da-da-da this. And then as you learn in the game and you become older, like, that's one thing I can say now. When I battle, I'm not worried about what nobody else is getting. As long as I get what I get to provide for me and my family, I could care less. But at this time, I had just turned 19. I battled on URL twice. I was like one of the few that been on grind time and URL. Plus, I just wanted more money. So I remember I had a manager at the time, and he called him like, yo, DNA can't do it for the 500. He's on URL and grind time. So we need more money. Then they had upped the money to $1,000. I don't know why I still didn't do it. This is still more money than I ever got. But for some reason, I'm just like, you know what? Come to think of it, I don't want to battle Quest McCody. I want to battle Disaster. So they didn't want to give me Disaster. So I'm like, yo, I'm not going to do the battle. Now, this is where it really sparked off, because what people don't understand is that me personally, at this time, I didn't know how to address situations the correct way. So instead of me saying I had a problem with Lush One and the organization over there, I said I had a problem with grind time, which I didn't, because I was still cool with Direct, I was still cool with Poison Pen, PH, Sarah Connor, and everybody else in grind time. It was just those specific people. But the way it came off by me saying grind time, everybody thought that I had a problem with grind time. So from then on, that's when the DNA Cap Callis war kind of started, because then Cap Callis started throwing shots like, who does DNA think he is? And then he tried to book me to battle 24/7 at Grizzlemania 2, and he was trying to pay 200, and I didn't want it because I'm like, yo, they tried to offer me 5, and then because I turned down the battle, instead of like, see, this is my thing, right? Even though me willingly I'm admitting that, you know, I was bugging out because I should have just took the money, the way they went about it wasn't like professionals. They went about it as if they was an artist too, by going to war with me. Like, if you negotiate with an artist and he's not like responsive to a price, or he doesn't want to do it, all you got to do is say, all right, cool, we're not booking you. They went on Twitter, started like saying lines that I said that didn't make sense. Oh, DNA's whack. Why should we have to pay him anyway? And in my mind, even though I was worried about other people's money, I had a point. You know, like, they were bringing people like Arsenal, T-Rex, and they was paying them more than they were paying people from grind time that actually put in the work. So to somebody being in the league, you sitting there watching dudes that don't even participate in your league, and at the time really didn't care. They just came for the money, get paid these thousands of dollars, while somebody that put in work for your league, I can't even get half of what they're getting. So I looked at it kind of as disrespect. Like, I'm one of the main dudes in grind time that's been battling, and I put in all this work, and for somebody just because their name is a little higher, you're gonna pay them 4 times more than you'll pay me, or pay them more money than you ever think about paying me. So I looked at it like, you can't you can't treat people that's not part of family good, but not treat your family good. So that's how I kind of looked at the moves they were making, which I still feel is valid, but the way both of us went about it was incorrect. So from then on, I didn't battle at Grind Time. Then I was supposed to make a return with Poison Pen against Real Deal. That fell through. Then I was supposed to battle Passwords. Then that fell through. And then it went to a whole nother year of me just not being on Grind Time. And then after that, it kind of like started turning into like, all right, I don't want to battle for Grind Time. And then all the people that like me from Grind Time, like all my fans, they started disliking me. So it's kind of like a war. And then you have people like Disaster, Awkwards. DNA turned his back on Grind Time. So it's kind of like this whole big controversy with me versus Grind Time, when really it was just me versus Lush One and Cap Callous, because I still was communicating with everybody. I was going to the Grind Time East Coast events, cool as I don't know what, with PH, with Poison Pen, with Sarah Connor, Dutch Vega, everybody. So it kind of got out of hand. I mean, if I could do it all again, I probably wouldn't have said I had problems with Grind Time. But I'll be lying to you to tell you I didn't like the controversy with Cap Callous and Lush One. Because I mean, at that time, me being young, that's kind of like what I was feeding off of. That's kind of what the hype was. Like, oh yeah, DNA used to be with, you know, Grind Time, and now he's going at it with Lush One and Cap Callous, and it was crazy. And then I remember that they kept asking me, like, DNA, what do you think that you did to deserve something from Grind Time? And I always used to tell them, like, and some people don't notice that, you know, on YouTube they have monetization where you get paid off of YouTube, and that's like when it's one clip of a video. And URL, I think they got their like sponsorship or partnership in like mid 2010, but Grind Time's got theirs at the end of 2009. And a lot of people don't know, me and Rich Dollars was the first battle that got the monetization. We was the first one clip battle on Grind Time. If you go back and look at all the Grind Time battles, they pieced up into 1, 2, 3 rounds. Me and Rich Dollars is one full length, 24, whatever, but however many minutes it is, but it's one clip. So I kept telling them, like, yo, even though now I monetize on YouTube, so I know it's not that much money, but at this time I'm thinking they're making thousands. So I'm like, yo, Grind Time is making money off of me. I'm the first one that they made money off of with the Rich Dollars. Why am I not getting paid? So it was just like this whole crazy thing. And then the funny thing is that me and Direct, we spoke about it a few times, and we conversed like, yo, it's not even like that. And he was understanding my point of view and I was understanding his, but it just blew out of proportion. Like, and then on top of it, it wasn't just me, it turned into a whole thing. Like, it was me and Cortez. So it was like, Cortez is not good at Grind Time and neither is DNA, and we both was going at it. And Cortez is funny because he redeemed himself with Grind Time faster than I did because he took the battle with Thesaurus. So then it just turns from DNA and Cortez to DNA. So now I'm alone. Cortez came back to Grind Time, explained his story, told everybody why he was upset, and they accepted him. He's getting all the love now, and it's still DNA, fuck DNA. DNA went to URL. So I'm just sitting here like, oh man, this is crazy, man. But you know what I mean? Eventually, I caught most of my Grind Time fans back with, you know, one of the most popular battles I had.
I told them at Fight Club, I don't want to battle Jen, and I don't want to battle that Too Much kid. And I wound up having to battle both of these niggas the same night.
Not just I seen him when he battled Jonah, and he did Jonah. That shit was dead on. Like, he's talented for that.